Hello and welcome to my presentation of the effect of music type, gender, and learner type on auditory comprehension. I am Allison Winiarski and I will be presenting on behalf of my two other group members. This study stems from previous research about the importance of comprehension and its influence by music. It has been shown that music genres do not appear to affect how people read and understand information. However, instrumental music seems to have a lesser negative effect than other genres. After looking at the research, I wanted to test if music genres and other variables actually can influence auditory comprehension. To do this, we chose to test music genre, gender, and learner type against auditory comprehension. Our hypotheses were that participants who listen to instrumental music will have higher auditory comprehension scores than popular music, that gender will not affect auditory comprehension scores, and that auditory learners will have higher auditory comprehension scores than visual and tactile learners. To gather data, we had students from our school, Biola University, participate in our experiment through SONA systems. SONA systems allow Biola students in an Introduction to Psychology course and other psychology courses to participate in experiments for extra credit or course credit. On the day of the experiment, participants walked into a room where a specific music genre was playing. Participants were read a story aloud. This story was titled The Calabash Kids, which is from Tanzanian culture. The story was selected from this culture in order to minimize the likelihood of it being recognized or heard by participants prior to the experiment. After the story was read, participants completed a 15-item questionnaire about the story. The participants' number of correct answers were recorded, and these numbers would represent their auditory comprehension scores. Last November, 55 participants whose mean age was 20.5 were tested. The ethnicities of the participants were primarily Caucasian, followed by Hispanic and Asian Americans. You can view the full breakdown of ethnicities in the table provided. Participants were excused from the study if they arrived late, and 2 participants outside of the 55 were excluded because they did not report a learner type. Our descriptive statistics consisted of 3 categorical variables and 1 quantitative variable. The categorical variables were gender, broken down by female and male, learner, consisting of visual, tactile, and auditory learners, and music, which was either popular or instrumental. You can view the precise breakdowns of each variable in the table on the left. It is important to note that there were many more females who participated than males, and that there are many more participants in the popular group than instrumental. This happened because less participants signed up for the times when the instrumental group was tested. The quantitative variable was the participants' auditory comprehension score. The table below shows the breakdown of scores for all participants as well as for each learner type. The distribution on the right shows that although the questionnaire was out of 15 items, the scores only ranged from 1 to 8, with most of the scores falling between 3 and 6. The distribution appears to be normal and was verified by a Shapiro-Wilk normality test and a normality QQ plot. From this, we know we can continue with our hypothesis testing. To test, we conducted 2 independent t-tests and a one-way ANOVA. The 2 independent t-tests were used to test music genre and gender in regard to auditory comprehension scores. As you can see, both comparisons were non-significant since both p-values were greater than 0.05. The ANOVA for learner type was significant. A follow-up Tukey HSD showed that auditory learners scored significantly higher compared to the tactile and visual learners, since the p-values for both comparisons were less than 0.05. The visual and tactile learners did not score significantly different, as shown by the p-values being greater than 0.05. From these tests, we see that musical genre does not appear to significantly affect auditory comprehension. This finding supports the previous research that music genres do not appear to affect comprehension. Also, our hypothesis that instrumental music would have higher scores than popular music appears to be disproved. We also found that gender does not appear to significantly affect auditory comprehension. This means that our hypothesis about gender appears to be supported. Finally, we found that self-reported auditory learners appear to have significantly higher auditory comprehension scores than visual or tactile learners. Overall, this means that it doesn't matter so much what your gender is or what type of music you listen to. You'll probably understand verbal instruction just the same. The most important factor is what type of learner you are. Thank you for viewing this presentation. If you have any questions, feel free to contact me at my email address shown.